The call came while I was packing the last file into the burn bag. My son's voice, shaking. "Dad, the dirty cops Mom is working with, they're here." The words froze me mid-breath. "They found your files. They chained me to the fence. They said, they said I have a front row seat to your execution." Silence on my end. My pulse slowed instead of quickened. Years of Black Ops training drilled calm where panic should live. He wasn't done. His voice cracked. "Dad, they made me dig your grave in the yard." The world went quiet. My son, forced to dig the hole meant to swallow me, by the same woman who once promised me loyalty, love, family. The files were compromised, my cover shattered. I whispered into the dead air, a promise carved in stone. "They're already dead men," and I meant every syllable. The betrayal had been circling for months. I just hadn't wanted to see it. Odd calls taken outside, whispers in another room when she thought I was gone, a softness in her tone reserved for someone else. She told me she was tired of living in shadows, tired of the lies my undercover work demanded. I thought it was resentment. I never imagined it was conspiracy. Until the pieces fell. She wasn't tired of lies. She was building her own. Dirty cops. The same ones I had spent years infiltrating. She wasn't a bystander. She was feeding them. My wife. The mother of my son. I replayed his voice in my head, fear strangled into words he didn't even understand. He was 11, old enough to know chains meant prison, too young to know digging meant death. That was her gift to me. Her betrayal wasn't just infidelity. It wasn't just treason. It was a death sentence written in my child's trembling hands. And I knew then, I wasn't coming home to save a marriage. I was coming home to bury it. I moved without hesitation. First, I called in a ghost protocol, a dead channel, secure, untraceable. Backups of every file uploaded to a server she didn't know existed. Insurance. Second, I mapped the house in my mind. Every angle, every entry point, every shadow I could slip into. I had trained for hostile compounds. This one was personal. Third, I studied her patterns. She always underestimated me when I was quiet. She mistook silence for surrender. Tonight, it would be her undoing. I arrived near the property past midnight. No headlights, no sound. I saw the fence in the distance, and him, my son, slumped against it, chained, head bowed but breathing, alive. The yard bore a scar, fresh dirt piled where small hands had been forced to dig. A grave. My grave. On the porch, two men smoked cigarettes, careless, comfortable. Inside, I caught a glimpse of her, my wife, laughing, drinking with them, like the woman I married had never existed. I stayed in the dark, watching, memorizing, every movement, every weakness, because when I stepped inside, there would be no second chances. I entered without sound. The first cop dropped before his cigarette hit the ground. The second never finished drawing his weapon. Years of killing in silence had not left me. I left them where they fell. Inside, I found her. She turned, startled, glass slipping from her hand. The mask of a wife cracked instantly, revealing the conspirator beneath. I didn't raise my voice. They chained our son to the fence. They made him dig a grave. You knew. She shook her head too quickly. I couldn't stop them. I slid the envelope across the table. Photographs, bank records, wire transfers traced back to her name. I had collected them weeks ago, buried in suspicion I hadn't wanted to admit. Her eyes widened, her lips trembled. "You already knew?" she whispered. I nodded once. I always did. Her collapse was silent. Mine was colder. I didn't strike her, didn't scream. I didn't need to. I walked her outside. showed her the grave her allies had forced our son to dig, his tears still wet in the soil. "Look at it," I ordered. She couldn't. Her face broke. "He dug this thinking it was for me, but it's yours now." Her knees buckled. She begged, words dissolving into broken sobs. I stayed still, watching. "You betrayed your family for money, for power, for men who are already rotting inside my house." I left her kneeling before the open grave. The night swallowed her cries. Then I cut my son's chains and lifted him into my arms. His heartbeat pressed against my chest like a silent vow. Dawn broke by the time we left the house behind. The boy slept in the passenger seat, exhaustion pulling him under. I drove with steady hands, no rush, no fear, just silence.